To seed or not to seed, that is the question. If you can, you're better off going with cuttings. First of all, you know exactly what the origin and history of the cutting is and know what you're going to get. You also know the sex. Additionally, it takes less time to grow a cutting. If you're going to grow seeds, make sure you know the genetics or the origin and history of the seed you're going to grow. Is it simply a hybrid or is it a breeding stock? Expect the extra time, up to 30 days. And you'll have to sex it. You'll have to know whether it's a male or female. There's nothing more bummer than having to grow something for a long time and find out it's a male. The advantages with seeds are there are no bugs, and they generally have more vigor. For us to start seeds, we simply use distilled water in a dark coffee cup. We fill it about 1/3 to a halfway full and drop our seeds into the cup and cover it with a piece of dark paper. Seeds do not need light, and in fact, light will burn the roots. Your seed should start sprouting within 12 hours to 3 days. The seeds we're doing are called Crimson. This is a new brand that we're testing right now. Crimson is a cross between Scarlet and Oregon Purple. Looking at the seeds in our cup, you can see that we have some that are cracked open and one that has a really good tail. The other two will have tails within a matter of hours. We're going to plant the one with the little tail. We'll start by filling a 4x4 small square starter pot with standard soilless mix. There is no fertilizer or nutrients in this mix. We've filled the container right to the top, and now we're going to take some of our starter mix, remember the starter mix video? And we're going to go ahead and wet this down very good first before we plant the seed. If you don't wet your media first, your seed will get lost. And let that settle a bit. If you've noticed, we've marked the Crimson name on our little 4x4 square. Make sure this gets soaked up very well. Alright, we have that all drained off now, and it's all packed down nice and firm. We're going to use a small round implement such as a clean stick to put a hole right into the center there, right where we want to place the seed. And the important thing is you only want it about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch deep for the entire seed. The object is we want that seed to be only 1/8 to 1/4 inch below the soil. In handling your seed, it is best to use tweezers, butter knife, or some other instrument so that you're not actually holding it with your hands. The oils from your fingers can damage the root. When we go to place this seed in, we're going to put it with the tail up. The tail coming out of the top of the seed will have to come up, because what naturally happens with this is that tail usually comes out and grows around and down. So that seed's going to try to turn and go down. If you plant it with that tail down, then what happens is the root comes up out of the soil and generally dries up, and then your seed dies. So it's very important to place these in the soil with the tail up. I'm going to carefully place that seed right there, and we're going to put it down into the hole, tail up. Careful not to push that tail too far or damage it. Put it about 1/8 to 1/4 inch below the soil, and just take a little bit of soil and put it right in the top of that hole to plug the hole. Remove any large debris around that hole. You don't want it to have to grow up and try to push that stuff away. The object is, and now let's just give it a very, very minute amount of water. You don't want too much because you'll wash that seed away. You just want to get her settled in there, and we're all set. And it will come sprouting up here very shortly. remember that that seed itself holds enough oil or enough energy in it to be able to sprout that root and push the seed up out of the soil. The seed will then split apart and two small teardrop leaves will appear. This is the beginning in the natural process of the plant. If you plant too deep or upside down, the seed may run out of energy before it can perform its job. Here's our seed 48 hours later. It has a really nice stalk on it. You can see the little teardrop leaves and the major leaves forming on top. First it will have two small leaves, then it will be followed by larger leaves rather quickly.